This is the Gita class, chapter 5. Shloka is 25. Okay, we'll do the Mangalacharna prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जलशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावभूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभुनित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवसादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण भगवान की जय प्रभुपाद जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कृष्ण भगवान की 25th श्लोक। लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ऋष्यक्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैता यतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः। लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ऋष्यक्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैता यतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः। लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ऋष्यक्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैता यतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः। ऋष्यक्षीणकल्मषाः लभन्ते achieve Brahmanirvanam, liberation, the supreme. Rishaya, those who are active within. Kshina Kalmashaha, who are devoid of all sins. Chinna, having torn off. Dvaithaha, duality. Yata Atmanaha, engaged in self-realization. Sarva Bhuta, for all living entities. Hite, in welfare work. Rataha, engaged. Translation by the Prabhupada. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. So here the qualities the Krishna is telling is there are four things, four qualifications, who will achieve the liberation in the Supreme. The one is Bhavante Brahmanirvanam. Who will achieve the means? He is explaining. Rishaya Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaita Yatatmana. Rishaya Kshina Kalmashaha means the Rishi whose minds are engaged within Kshina Kalmashaha. When the mind and senses are going outward, that is where we get Kalmashaha. That's where the mind will be polluted. The mind, indriyas, everything will be polluted because they are going out because of the desire. The moment the desire is nothing but papa. So kshina kalmashaha. So that is one thing. So those whose minds are engaged within. Engaged within means what? The mind is not going outward for the sense gratification. Instead, going for the welfare of the other people. That's what is also going to explain. So the mind, when it, the nature of the mind is, like Prabhupada says, the consciousness can't sit idle. Like it is always active. The mind and senses and indriyas are always active, morning to the evening, night. Also, it is active. It goes on working. So that's why if you put mind and senses in the bhakti marga, so whatever it's going out, you are doing for the welfare of all the people, like sarvabhuta hite rataha. So welfare, working for the welfare of all living beings, or not disturbing the society, being a good citizen, at the same time having this bhakti bhavana, and all those things, and then controlling the kama krodhas. This is again welfare of the welfare to the society. If you are calm and quiet and peaceful, you are indirectly helping the society. That's called Risha Kshina Kalmashaha. So the rishis, because their minds and senses don't go outside, their kalmashaha are kshina, totally kshina. Kshina means gone. So whose minds are engaged within. And then Labante Brahmarivam, right? Chinnatvaita yatatmanaha. Chinnatvaita means those who are beyond the dualities that arise from the doubts. So dualities that arise from the doubt. So basically whatever the doubts we have, like you should have the clarity of who are us, who am I, and then what is the Prakriti, and what is the Paramatma, what is the time, like Gita explains, right? Jivatma, Paramatma, and then Prakriti, and then the time, and then the karma. So he has a Chinna Dvaita Yatatmanaha, that means doubts. Dvaita means here not the dualities, but basically here Dvaita means duality in the nothing but doubts. So dualities means two things, whether this is correct or that is correct. That is a kind of duality. We are going to talk about more on that. Chinnadvaitayatman, Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. That guy, and then Sarvabhuta Hiterata means he always, Sarvabhuta, all the living entities in the welfare of the work he engages. Rataha. That person is considered to be a liberated person, Brahmabhuta person. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from the doubts, whose minds are engaged in within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve the liberation. Free from all sins means Kshina Kalmashaha, Chinnatvaitayatatmanaha, doubts, and then Sarvabhutaiterataha, this. Labante Brahmarvanam Rushaya. Oh, Kshina Kalmashaha. There are two things. It's called Rushaya, Kshina Kalmashaha. There are two things. Rushaya means minds engaged in within, and Kshina Kalmashaha means who are free from all the sins. Kind of both are same. So, when the minds are engaged within means in the Bhakti Marga, you always think about the Bhagavan, and then you always, and then remember the Bhagavan all the time in each and everything. That is called engaged within. Now in the purport, only a person who is fully in Krishna consciousness can be said to be engaged in welfare or work for all living entities. When a person is actually in the knowledge that Krishna is the fountainhead of everything, then when he acts in that spirit, he acts for everyone. That is called Sarvabhuta Hiterataha, which is like a really a test. It's like a medicine, and then the things you should follow the directions. Pacham, that's what they'll say, right, in Telugu. So that is called that Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. How we will be Sarvabhuta Hiterataha? How we will see every bhutas, and then we work for the welfare of all the bhutas. That means here Prabhupada explains that when you are fully in Krishna consciousness, that means when a person all in the knowledge of Krishna is the form, but that means if you really say it's all Krishna, the Bhagavan, the Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabde is the one. It's only one. And from him, the Maya came, external energy, internal energy, marginal energy, whatever energies came, everything come from Bhagavan. And finally, when that's a creation happened, and the maintenance is happening because of the Bhagavan, Krishna, because of his Chaitanya, everything is activated, and then maintenance is happening. The body, if there is no soul, the body won't grow, even though you feed whatever missions you put it or whatever. So even if you put the elevator or whatever, if the soul is gone, ventilator or whatever, and the soul is gone, that body is going to be dead. So then if you really see that's entire, the Atma, Paramatma is the entirely pervading, and then there is no place for him to move, and he is everything, then everything comes from him. And then whatever you see, that the Jada Prakriti, the Chaitanya Prakriti, Chaitanya Prakriti, or inferior energy or superior energy, whatever may be the things, all the living entities, then they are all the part and parcel of Krishna. That's why when you have this in the mind, then you don't have a distinction, and then you work for always Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. You take all the living entities as the same. Very tough. This is like a test also. Because nowadays in the Kali Yuga, even within the family, there are so many quarrels and happening. Then we have to go to that level, Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Not just that, not just putting the mercy on them. You try to work for them and then try to elevate them. But because the Kali Yuga, I have to be very careful. So that's why you put a balance, and then you work on it. That is one qualification. The next qualification is the suffering of the humanity are due to forgetfulness of Krishna as the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the supreme friend. Therefore, to act to revive this consciousness within the entire human society is the highest welfare work. One cannot be engaged in such a first class welfare work without being liberated in the supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no doubt about the supremacy of Krishna. He has no doubt because he is completely free from all sins. This is a state of divine law. So basically here he talked about Chinnadvaita Yatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Yata Chinnadvaita, and then his doubts were gone. No doubts about the supremacy. Then he is free from Kshina Kalmashaha, free from sins. It's all combinations. When you are free from all the sins, then you don't desire, you desire only the Krishna. That's where you get the Chinnadvaita Yadatmanaha. Both are go hand in hand. A person engaged only in ministering to the physical welfare of the human society cannot factually help anyone. Temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulties in the hard struggle of our life may be found in one's forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. When a man is fully conscious of his relation with the Supreme, he is actually liberated soul, although maybe he may be in the material tabernacle. So here Krishna explains that mainly he is focusing mainly on the how we are giving the welfare to the society. Basically, helping in the materially is not going to help them at all because the material turbulences keep on coming and going based on the prarabdha karma. So once we have the knowledge of this Atma Jnana, that means who are we and then who is Paramatma. Really, there's a difference between Advaita and the Advaita and Visishta Advaita. Whatever may be the reason, if you are convinced that you are not the body, not the mind, not the Indriyas, not the senses, not anything, and then you are that Atman, and then with this knowledge, you will have, because there is no difference between the two Atmans or anything, it's all Satchitananda, characteristics are everything same, and if there is no difference, then you won't feel the jealous or anything, and then you will treat everything as a separate, as the same. So that is like full Bhakti Marga, if you are really in the Bhakti Marga or whatever Jnana Marga, whatever Marga may be, but these are the qualifications. So Vijaya Prakash Chandagiri explains more here. So here he says like Rishika, Chinnadvaita, Rishika means Indriyas. I mean, he talks about the Rishi meaning. Rishi means Rishikesha, Indriyas engaged in the Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Chate. Bhakti means you engage all the senses, all the Indriyas in the Rishikas in the service of the Isha, of the Rishika, which is nothing but Rishikesha. So that is called, that's, and then the Rishi means either once you are engaging everything into the service of the Bhagavan, then it's all controlled. So the mind, when the mind is fully controlled on the Bhagavan, that is called Rishika and that is called Rishi. Here talk about Rishi means Rishayaha Kshina Kalmashaha. Rishi means that. Rishikesha. So when the Rishikas are engaged in the Rishikesha, that's called Rishi. That's called, his name is Rishi. It's like a qualification. Anybody can achieve that qualification. Everybody has their Indriyas, their own testing environments. They can work on it and then they can come successful. Then another thing is Brahmavidvaita Bhavati. So when you Jagadvandudai Parugunveya Sakshat Varudam, who is the, so basically whoever is doing the controlling the senses and everything, the human becoming the Rishi, then the Rishi will become his Nirvana, Brahma Nirvana Vichati. He will be a realized soul and he will be like a Bhagavan. That's what some of the people will say, but we will see later that part. Okay, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. At least you realize that you are Atman. At that time you will say whether you are a part and parcel of the Bhagavan or it's a one, or you don't have any identification of yourselves and it will be only a one Bhagavan, Satchitananda Swarupa. That we will say. So then the sadhanas here in this one, Krishna explained about the qualification, also explaining the sadhanas also. What are the things we should achieve? Number first one is Kshina Kalmashaha, okay, free from all the sins. Number second is Samshayaha, Dvandva, Chinnadvaita, Yatatmana Chinnadvaita, all the samshayas are gone. Number third is Rushayaha, controlling the mind and senses, and Sarvabhuta Hitertaha, Sarvabhutadaya. So the one first is when we talk about Chinnadvaita Yatatmanaha. So how we will be Chinnadvaita, no, Paparahita. Chinnadvaita is the second one, Paparahita, and first one, let's say, Kshina Kalmashaha. How we are going to Kshina Kalmashaha, how we are going to remove our sins in the subtle body. The mind senses are going, because the biggest sin is a desire for sense gratification, that is a sin. So how we will be removing that? So that we will be doing when you are doing the punya karyas, like the religious stuff, engaging the senses in the Bhagavan, Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all that, Yajna, Tapo Yajna, Yajnadana Tapas, those are all called punya karmas. And then with all those ones, because you cannot sit idle, and then when you are working in the punya karmas, karmacharana, and another one is ishkama karmacharana. Nishkama means don't desire it, but you keep on doing it to leave the results to the Bhagavan. And then bhakti dhyanadula se, dhyanadula valna. So that means with the bhakti and the dhyana, whatever may be the things, it's all like Shravanam Kirtanam. If you really are focused on the bhakti, Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyade Pujana Sakijana Atma Nivedana Govinda Dasyade. Ambarish Maharaj did it, all the 9 margas. Prahlada did so many things, Shravanam Kirtanam, and then Dhruva also did. So we need to see so many examples in the Bhagavatam that explains the bhakti. So with the bhakti, you can remove all the Kshina Kalmashaha. Even Atma Bodha Shankaracharya also says, Tapobhi Kshina Papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam Mumukshonam Apekshoyam Atma Bodha Vidiyate. He explained the Atma Bodha. First sloka is Tapobhi Kshina Papanam. With the tapasa, you remove the papas, Kshina Papanam. Shantanam Vitaraginam. With that one word, you will be Shanta, and you don't have this Ragadveshas, Dvandva. That is called Dvandvas, Ragadveshas. Therefore, the Tapobhikshina Papanam Shantanam Vetaraginam Mukshonam Apekshoyam Atmabodha Vividhiyate. Okay, that's. Now the second one is Samshaya Rahita. So that means Chinnadvaita. Chinnadvaita Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha Anunatlu. తత్వచరణచే పరమార్థ జ్ఞానముచే సర్వ సంశయములు పోగొట్టుకోగలను. సంశయములు ద్వంద్వములు. So here samshal means doubts, and then dvandvas means again dvandvas means ragadveshas, 2 dvandvas, shitoshnas, that's called dvandvas, dualities. So that we will remove through the jnana and the tattva vicharana, tattva jnana. Chityante sarva samshaya. You keep on analyzing the situation, keep on observing the mind, keep on where it is wandering it, and then whenever you have the doubt, keep on researching on that, get it cleaned by the Guru. That's called samshaya rahitas. Or you yourself will get the enlightenment when you keep on thinking about that. Bhagavan will help us. Next, Rushayaha means, again, we talked about that. Indriya Mano Nigraha. Again, Viveka Vairagya. So in the, again, as Vivek Chudamani says, like Viveka Vairagya and the Shama Samadhi Shat Sampatki sadhanas, those are also same everything. So keep on and understanding, having the knowledge, and keep on with the Vairagya, dissolve disinterest, show disinterest to the Anitya, and then only the permanent only, focus more on the permanent ones. And here explains that because Indriyas are all, in the system of Kathanishat, or even the Gita also it explains, right? The Indriyas are like 5 horses. So, the Kathopanishad. So basically he's saying like if the horses are not strong, they are wrong, how can you achieve the goal? How can you achieve the destiny? Again, Sarvabhuta Hitaratha, again, same thing we talked about, Sarvabhuta. Because if you really see everything is Bhagwan, then Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan, everything is there, then why we have this hate and, Raga Dveshas, Ichha Dveshas, yeah, and hate and desire. Yeah. And then mainly he says like one is liberated or not. This is just a test. Biggest test is this one. So the previous ones are like the medicines, and then this is called a patya, means the things we should be taking care. Like don't eat this, don't eat that. That's called, right. You take the medicine, but you don't do this also. This is called one of the thing where sarvabhuta hite, sarvabhuta dhaya is the main thing. Hiterataha. So then it's called Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. Labante Brahma Nirvana. Labate, achieve the Brahma Nirvana. So you do these 4 sadhanas to get the Brahma Nirvana. At the same time, the one who is liberated, the test is this one. So you can easily figure it out who is a liberated person or who is not liberated person. So one is again Rushayaha. That is the main thing. Indriyas and manas and everything should be controlled. Controlling in the sense they should not go out. Desiring for sense gratification. The main reason for that is a body consciousness. If I think that I am the body and then I am trying to engage, I am trying to satisfy the body demands. In reality, body means the indriyas only. Without the indriyas, it's like a bhogavastu is a body. All this meat and everything is there. If you really see this is skin, they will say, but it's all, what is that? It's a mucus, my meat and blood and, that's all it is, right? Bones and all that stuff. Whereas the sense shakti, the indriya shakti of the touch is all around the body. So that indriya touch wanted to touch certain things, soft objects or whatever may be the things. Then it enjoys the sukha. It is totally through ajnana it thinks like that. So where is that thought is coming is, that thought is coming in the mind, and then the buddhi means fixed on this particular thought. That's why we have to clean up the buddhi. That's called the meaning of the Gayatri Mantra. So that is one of the indriya we talked about. So again, same thing, tongue. It's all, if you really see, that's all, even the eyes, everything is like Godakas, they will say. That means they're all instruments that is put it. Whereas the energy should pass through that. That energy is called Indriya Shakti. So all the Indriyas are like 5 Indriyas are there, 5 Karmendriyas are there, 5 Jnanendriyas are there. All the Indriya Shaktis is actively working. And all these are controlled by the mind. If you really see, even in the dream state, you enjoy all those stuff in the dream state, and then at that time, our mind is the only one active. Whereas the Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas, they are all like sleeping. So, but the mind is doing everything and it is enjoying it with that. That means mind is more powerful. When the control of the mind, when the mind is, you are thinking about something else, even if you are eating, you don't enjoy that because you don't focus on that. You are thinking something else. So, mind is the main thing. And mind wanders, but the buddhi is the more subtle and powerful. That is where the buddhi should be convinced in order to get this Kshina Kalmashaha and then Rushaya Kshina Kalmashaha. And then even Chinnadvaita also. Even Sarvabhutaita. Everything is Buddhi Prachodayat Gayatri. So when you are fixed in the Buddhi intelligence that you are not the body, you are the soul, you are only the reflected consciousness is reflecting on the Buddhi. That's where you are all these Indriyas and everything is like active. And then if you really see like the all that is us, we are the Atman, and everything power is there within us, and we are the ones with our power. All this Jada Prakriti is in Chaitanya. Then if you have all this convinced, then you don't crave for the Indriya Bhoga outside, because outside there is really no happiness. That is all through Ajnana we think that we are happy. Because if you really see, you are hungry. When you are hungry, then only you eat something. Then only you relish the food and you will see that I enjoyed the food. But reality, that enjoyment is not in the food, or not not in the tongue, or not in the stomach. Because the stomach is the one, because the Maya Shakti, because of the disturbance in the stomach, dukkha nivritti, dukkha upashamana, you are putting the food on that and thinking that you are that. That's totally ajnana. Same thing with all the indriyas. So this means the body or the matter is not going to give you the happiness. There is no happiness in the matter. It's only the soul is the one, which is the characteristic of the soul is Satchitananda, eternal, and then with the full consciousness, and Ananda is full bliss. The opposite of that is matter, which is Midya. It is not there. It is there and not there. There, not there also, like Vivek Chudaman explained. And it's all creation of the Maya. So then creation of the Bhagavan, the Maya. Mama Maya Durattaya. Maya is very hard to pass through. That is why what we do is like with the Bhakti Marga, with the Bhakti, Moksha Karana Samagyam Bhakti Reva Kariyasi. With the Bhakti, what you need to do is like you put all the Indriyas and everything in the service of the Bhagavan. Service of the Bhagavan means what? Not just cleaning the temple and all that, but you think about his Maya Prakriti, his creation and all that, the Tattva Jnanas, Upanishads and everything, slowly get the knowledge and experience yourself. Then you will realize that you are the Atman. That's where you can be Rishi and Kshina Kalmashaha and Chinnatvaitaha. All the doubts, remove it. First of all, whatever you are thinking it, remove that thoughts. And then with the help of the Shastra, with the help of the Guru, so many things are now, so much things. Then Sarvabhuta Hiterataha is the one thing, which is the test. These are all the medicines is Rishya, Kshina Kalmashaha, Chinnadvaita are the three medicines. That means control the indriyas and everything, and then remove your sense, and then remove all your doubts are the medicines, and the Sarvabhuta Hiterataha is like a thing we should, Pacham, that is medicine, and then the diet, that is what it is. Sarvabhuta, then that is a test. So long as we have the ragadveshas, that is okay, but try to control it. And then if you really see somebody is praising you, you like them, and then you work for them. If somebody is hating you, you do the other way. But in reality, Sarvabhutas, you need to take it as it is. So that means you see everywhere Bhagavan, and then serve the Bhagavan with all your energy. That's, and yesterday Sarvapriyananda also saying that how you love the people means when you give more, that's where you get the love. You love more. When you love more, you want to give everything. So when you give everything to someone, something, that is what you started loving that also. That's why start giving it. Start giving everything and start living for the welfare of the people. So that's what. And it's so simple and easy. And with this one, what happens is Brahma Nirvana Muchati, the ones you get the Brahman, and then which is the unlimited happiness. So in reality, you remove, you have the patience, and then you just eliminate this temporary happiness, sacrifice this temporary happiness for the biggest unlimited happiness, which is your own nature only. Because this is anyway Maya, it's not going to stay there, but that is the eternal. So working towards that part is the smartest people will do that. Because of the prarabdha karmas, we might be put into certain things. That's why do the karma yoga. So that's why all these margas will help us to achieve the goal. Okay? That's what again. Labhante brahma nirvanam rishekshena kalmashaha chinnadvaita yatatmanaha sarvabhutaite rataha. So basically liberation the supreme or liberated person should be the goal for the humans. Okay, then we'll end here. It has a strong, heavy sloka, easy to understand. Implementation is hard, but we'll get one time. Sometime, some other time, or we will get it, the liberated. We will be the liberated person at some point of time. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Bhagavan Ji, Prabhupada.